you get, the more difficult it is to get your hair done. I need to get hairspray. I don't know how all these professionals do it. Anyway, guys, I am back here at Westminster, and I just thought I would have a quick morning chat with you with regards to, well, let's just start with what's happening with the Guerilla TV YouTube channel. That's five videos been taken down, deleted off the channel. They've also taken off videos who are being very well subscribed, and they are obviously not putting up in the algorithms to actually have it searchable. So there's a whole series of various things that is happening just now on this channel. One of the reasons I'm reluctant to do very much more is the fact that on YouTube is the fact that they're quite clearly mucking about with the channel. So that's obviously a major issue. However, I'm going to put up, I was at the Family Party annual conference, so I'm going to put up some of the information with regards to what they were saying at the Family Party annual conference. But I'm here really to talk about UK reform, and that obviously we all know that Nigel has been speaking to disgruntled red wall Conservatives who were elected under Boris Johnson to find out if some of them are going to jump ship. Now there's up to 80 people have said they're going to retire, probably because the Conservative Party are sitting so low in the opinion polls just now, and obviously with Rishi Sunak being a WEF agent, and basically as is Jeremy Hunt, the Conservative who is advocating for communism and thinks that the communist society in China is a great society, and which is probably not reflected by the communist people just now, or communist people, the Chinese people, sorry, just now. But obviously Baldy Dr. Evil, Klaus Schwab, has also alluded to the fact that the Chinese Communist Party have got a great system of governance, and the fact is that that's obviously coming down to Jacinda Ardern and obviously what do you call him, Trudeau in Canada, who's obviously just a communist shell. We've just found out that Trudeau in Canada is was pressured by President Biden to implement the draconian measures against the Canadian truckers. So we've just found that out. So what's actually happening just now? Oh, what's happening? Let me just turn up the volume. I don't know if that's making any difference. What's happening just now? So there's been muted requirements for Nigel to come back and actually take on all the WF parties, whether it's the SNP, the Greens, the Liberals, the Labour WEF party, or the Conservative WEF party, who all seems to be shilling for communism for us and corporatism for me. So that seems to be the sort of general overview that's coming down from the WEF, that it's communism for you and corporatism for us. And obviously Rishi Sunak is a WEF exponent as well. So he's just part of the overall WEF, and that's why Liz Truss, who's also a member of the WEF, is so as Boris Johnson, that all of these actors are all political actors, have all been part of the WEF, and they're all on the WEF website, all controlled by Klaus Schwab. So that's certainly something that's obviously concerning. So Richard Tice has managed to get the UK Reform Party as high as 9%, but there's already polls out that says if Nigel comes back, the WEF party, the UK, Reform UK could be as high as 25%. That's why I mean, that would really help Richard in his stand in Hartlepool as well, if Nigel came back and they were as high as 25%. Don't forget that I was down here doing a speech before they won the European elections, and Nigel swept up everything from the Brexit Party. I think it wasn't UKIP at the time, it was the Brexit Party. So that's that's something that the Conservative members of Parliament in the Red Wall seats, who have now been captured by Rishi Sunak, who wants to bring in digital IDs and also bring in the new digital currency, which is just going to be a way of actually tracking you and basically enslaving you into some sort of Chinese credit scoring system, which again harks back to what's happening in China. And now we see all the Chinese actually up in arms about the draconian type of governance that's actually happening in China. So Nigel is really, and Nigel I don't think wants to come back. He's got a nice cushy number with GB News, but that's really going to make a massive difference. If he's already talking to Red Wall Conservative MPs, and they might actually jump ship in the middle of this Parliament. If they've got obviously 2 years, but if they all start to jump ship to UK reform, then that's going to be a massive change in British politics. Not only would it decimate the Conservatives, but I think a lot of these what would have been traditional Labour supporters who support Brexit, reducing immigration, reducing taxation, could all just jump ship and not go for the Labour Party. The Labour Party's vote is soft, and these people in the North and Midlands of England and Wales and potentially Scotland could actually see the light and realise that all of these parties are just WEF adjacent. So Nigel could actually now sit the party at 25%, which means that they will get MPs, and especially if the Red Wall MPs jump, rather than resigning, it would be better for them to jump ship and jump actually to the WEF. Sorry, WEF, keep going, WEF, UK reform. So they would do en masse what they did before, and if they did it en masse, then that would destroy the WEF Conservative Party, and B, that they would actually then get a party that will actually win seats. They might actually hold on to their own seats rather than having to resign from Westminster. They would then actually see a complete change, because you would get a decimation of the Conservative Party. You might actually get the UK Reform Party winning at 25%. I mean, it's not that, it could be higher. I mean, I think it was up as high as 33% for the Brexit Party when it was at the European elections. If that's replicated at a general election, that means they could conceivably win a general election, as I pointed out 2 years ago, and which seemed like a ridiculous suggestion at the time. Now, even under Richard Tice, the UK Reform Party is sitting at 9%. So Richard Tice, who we call Nice Guy Eddie on the GTC, has also managed to get them sitting at 9%. So they're the third largest party in the UK just now. So this is a massive opportunity for Nigel. So that Preston journalist, another good YouTuber, if you've not seen that Preston journalist, go on YouTube and have a wee search for him. He's got some very interesting ideas. He suggested that Nigel shouldn't be sitting in a southern English seat, he should be sitting in a northern English seat where he could actually be elected, because some of the northern English seats would actually elect Nigel Farage. So I would do polling on each of the constituencies to find out which constituency would actually vote for Nigel in such a level that he would actually get elected. Obviously, the UK Reform has targeted a number of seats, which is also the right thing to do. But if Nigel comes back, becomes the party leader, and they're sitting at 25%, that's going to be a massive jump. And they also get red Tories jumping ship, rather than resigning, actually jumping ship before the next election. Some of those red wall Tories could actually then stay elected and remain elected and remain in power, because at this moment they're just resigning rather than actually jumping ship and going with UK Reform or Reform UK. And that's all down to if Nigel comes back. Nigel has got such a massive influence. Now, he's reluctant to come back, but I would suggest that this is probably his time. And now that Rishi Sunak, who's just a WEF agent, is bringing in the WEF agenda, the Conservative Party are sitting only at 25%. if Nigel comes back and the UK Reform Party or Reform UK Party are sitting at 25 to maybe 33%, that could actually change the whole dynamic in British politics. And also, I think the Labour Party vote is soft, so you could actually see a lot of people who have switched to Labour, because people haven't got a great deal of respect for Sir Keir Starmer. That could actually decimate the Labour vote as well. It's not just the Conservatives. Low tax, toughen immigration, not reducing or improving the energy supply. There's four sort of policies. That's three of the four sort of policies that would actually be effective with Labour's Party Brexiteers or Labour supporting Brexiteers that are not being done by any other party just now. So this is a massive, massive opportunity for Nigel to develop the UK Reform Party into either the second or even the first force in British politics. It's up to Nigel whether he wants to be remembered, because he's going to be remembered for winning the battle, but is he going to be remembered for winning the war? And well, if Nigel does come back and they do get to that stage, Richard Tice might get elected. There might be a number of people who are actually elected for UK Reform. There might be red wall Tories who are jump ship, and they would be better jumping ship en masse to UK Reform, because obviously Rishi Sunak is not doing the things. He's increasing taxes, sluggish growth. He's doing none of the things that would make Brexit Britain actually preferable to other places. So he's doing the exact opposite of what would be beneficial. And even May, what they should have done was brought in tax reductions gradually. But you have to remember that the Governor of the Bank of England is also a member of WEF as well, so he's at WEF adjacent, so he still wants the WEF agenda to be put through. So I mean, it's just absolutely incredible just now. But Nigel comes back, UK Reform or Reform UK could be sitting at 25% from the polling, and we've already heard from Richard Tice that they're nearly got a candidate for every seat in the UK, or they will have. I think they're sitting at 560, so they'll have a candidate in every constituency in the UK, and they are now the credible opposition to the WEF agenda, which is permeated through SNP, Labour, the Conservative Party, the Liberals, even the Welsh nationalists. So that's the situation. It's a massive opportunity, and to prevent digital IDs and digital state-controlled currency to try and enslave the individual. That's certainly not something that we want to do. So it's a huge opportunity for Nigel, huge, but he has to really seize the day. And now it's about him actually stepping back into politics. I know he doesn't want to, and I understand he's spent a lot of time, but he's got a lot of goodwill towards him, and that's probably why if he comes back he'll be standing at 25%. Now whether or not Richard is prepared to stand aside, I think Richard is an intelligent enough man. He seems very intelligent enough man to stand aside for Nigel in the whatever term it is for the next election. I would, if I was Nigel, I would just stay in politics for the rest of his life, and just say he's going to be committed to the politics, because he's got a lot of support throughout the UK. He's done a lot of great things for the country, and if he commits himself to politics for the rest of his life, then he's the likelihood is that he could win a general election, which is would be a huge thing for him. I mean, that's a historic thing for a person to have changed British political history. I mean, he's already done that through the Brexit campaign, but that's just the battle. That's not the war. You have to win the war, not just the battle, if you're really going to make history. So whether Richard would stand aside, I think Richard's an intelligent enough man to stand aside. If he gets from 9% to 25% with Nigel in charge, that's also going to help Richard in Hartlepool as well. That's going to have a massive effect on voters in Hartlepool. But I like that Preston journalist said, I would do a survey or a pool of constituencies, potentially in the north, which that Preston journalist said that Nigel would probably get elected in, and not go for the same constituency, maybe change the constituency to something in the north where Nigel actually might win one, or just poll all the constituencies to find which one would vote for Nigel and potentially return him to Parliament. That would be the best solution there. But yeah, this channel's getting suppressed on YouTube. This is it's very hard work to do this, knowing that this the channel's getting suppressed. I'm obviously my political commentary is so good that they feel in Silicon Valley they have to suppress my speech, just like what's happened with the communist regime in China, just for like what's happening in Brazil. All the WEF adjacent political class cheating at the ballot box. Right, my baby gorillas, I will love you and leave you. I thought I would just do from Westminster and have a wee chat with you. You can let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. But Nigel's come back. Reform UK Party to be sitting at 25% and change British politics. And potentially red wall Conservatives and maybe other Conservatives jumping ship to UK reform if Nigel does come back. I don't know if that might have been a condition for them to jump ship when he actually had the meetings with the red wall Conservatives. It would be better than jumping ship and making a statement in British politics and just resigning, wouldn't it? Love my baby gorillas.